Hi, Hub Arkish and Eric Edholm here for Pro Football Weekly as we continue to try and break down the NFL's labor impasse for you. Now, we've already reported on what happened on Thursday, July 21st, maybe the final debate between the owners and the players before a deal gets done. The question is, how ugly did it get, and now how long is it going to take? What were those points that the players claimed they had not agreed on? Well, Eric, we know one is the players have asked for $320 million in benefits that were not received in 2010 because it was an uncapped year. The owners have said no. Tough. That's what the agreement said. The players felt that they hadn't signed off on it. The owners have taken the attitude that it's over and there's nothing left to discuss.
That's one of the big issues. Workman's compensation was another one. They also felt like the owners kind of threw in something about the supplemental revenue sharing. That's something that they typically have not argued about in the past, but this is something they did argue about on Thursday night. So they felt like there were some pieces of the agreement that were thrown in at the last minute that they weren't aware about.
And what's really interesting about this supplemental revenue sharing issue is that back in 2006, when the players walked away from the table and the deal expired, it was because Gene Upshaw insisted that the NFL owners have that clause in the agreement. 48 hours later, they got it. A lot of owners have been surprised over the last 4 or 5 months that D. Smith hasn't seemed interested in that issue.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden Thursday night it appears he is. So this is something that maybe it's a positional play, a power play of sorts. Maybe D. Smith is saying to his players, hey, look, we want to be able to see something, review it, have the information, and not just have them say, oh, yeah, this is fine, we'll pass this. So I think part of it was wanting to make sure he knew he was in power and ready to make a play.
And Eric, another big issue here, and we're not sure how much of this is the owner's fault and how much of it is the Players Association's fault, but the 10 named plaintiffs in the antitrust suit, which needs to be settled, apparently will receive nothing. And our understanding is that the Players Association had gone along with that, and some of those 10 players are saying, well, wait a minute, what did we do this for? If there is a settlement, they are entitled to something.
Yeah, they were last time in 1993. Obviously, those guys received some benefits, not the franchise tag being involved. We hear that's not really the case in this one, monetary or otherwise. So, you know, there's some things that surprised us throughout this process. Another thing is the recertification of the union. That's a procedural thing the NFL says has to happen before we can have a CBA, a collectively bargained agreement. By definition, that includes a union.
And really intriguing that this entire summer has been based on the owner's contention that the union never did decertify, that it was all a sham. Now at the 11th hour, they're not letting the players come back to work until they recertify. Talk about having your cake and eating it too.
It's some great irony in this case. I don't know if people don't want to hear that, but look, I think eventually we get something done, and it may just be a procedural thing that we're talking about. They may need these signature cards. You know, we will stop arguing about unions and whether somebody is one or not, but it is important that these things get done properly and the right way so we don't lead to lawsuits down the line.
The players are extremely angry. They're hurt. But the bottom line is they'd already agreed to the 5 key economic points. 95% of the deal is done. The rest of it will get done. They're even going to hug it out in the next couple days. You guys watch what happens. But as of the end of the day, Thursday and Friday morning, July 22nd, players are simmering right now, trying to put their anger to bed. For Pro Football Weekly and ProFootballWeekly.com, Eric Edholm, I'm Hub Arkish. Thanks for watching. Check us out here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the best coverage in the NFL.